All right, so I'm just gonna go with it. This is against my battle with myself and my seizures, my manic depression, my clinical depression, my severe anxiety, my PTSD. I'm gonna try to sing my thoughts, kind of thing. I have no idea how it's gonna go. I have no idea what I'm gonna sing. I'm just gonna try to go with it. All right. As I look into the south as the stars point around, I see the arrows straight and true, always pointing north, always to you. My love is ever growing, like the tide in the moonlight. The butterflies are calling, ever fluttering by. I love the sound of your name, the touch of your skin, because you're my end. So much of my life has flashed by. So much of my time has been nigh. I would be lying to say at one point I really did stop trying. I tried to compliment, I tried to dissemble. I can't tell you once, I can't tell you twice all the hell that's been going through me, my own lies. I lied to myself, I listened to the hate. All I want to know is, can I finally appreciate the things inside that I knew was right, but all along being told wrong? I hate being right. I've come to realize I was just taught wrong. All the lies, all the truth, all the secrets we've been through. This life is just more complex than the last. We'll never make it to the end if we don't see the first light of day. With a new heart, a new look on society. Oh, was I supposed to be singing? Alright. All I can say is that I am only trying to understand my life. I've been dying since the age 9. Life suffocating me at every breath, every beat of my heart. My nerves racketing and down my spine. Me gasping out, telling myself it'll be fine. Paranoia in my eyes I see, as the darkness started tunneling around me. I look into the depth of my eyes, 'cause I'm only dead for a moment or a surprise. I see nothing and everything, the light, the dark, the gray, the right, the wrong, the good, the bad, heaven and hell. It's more complex than what you expect it to be. I try to tell myself that everything is just supposed to be a reality, but the unknown of the reality is here to stay. All I want to know is, how can I come out and play? Oh, I suck at this. At least I'm in a good mood though. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be singing. Fuck, I'm stoned. Anyhow, um, that's an amazing air fryer, by the way. Oh yeah, chicken nuggets, chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets, pizza rolls, chicken nuggets, pizza rolls, chicken nuggets, pizza rolls, chicken nuggets, pizza rolls. How I love my chicken nuggets and pizza rolls. When I air fry them in the evening, I'm gonna toss my salad with a ranch. Add those little puppies in. What the fuck did I just do? Oh my god, you guys are probably thinking, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Well, I can at least, I can at least tell you this. A lot of things. I'm literally surprised I'm still alive. Shit. You know, I split my forehead twice in 2 different locations at different times. I split it once on the back of my sister's head when I was 3. And when I was 5, no, it had to been when I was 2 when I split my head. I was a toddler, and then when I was 4, I split my head right here on the floor because I got pushed from a dresser top. So I suffered trauma to my frontal lobe. Your frontal lobe is right here. When I was younger, I used to get called Scarface, and I was just glad at a young age somebody told me, hey, people call you Scarface? That's cool. He's a badass. And I'm just like, you should be proud that people are calling you that. I was just like, hell yeah, I'm named after a badass. I'm nicknamed after a badass. I was only 5. And then once I got into kindergarten, because I was in special ed, obviously, because my damage to my head, I couldn't communicate. I didn't know how to communicate right. Like, if you noticed in the video at all, I have no idea. I don't notice it anymore. Like, only when I start to stutter and stammer is when I notice it. So, like, they put me in there because they thought I was slow. I was actually analyzing everything around me too fast, and I wasn't able to communicate, broadcast it out, because I didn't know what to say, how to explain it, to clarify what I'm trying to say in my mind outwards. I knew the words, I knew what needed to be said, I just couldn't say it. And I ended up getting angry a lot, because that's when kids started calling me Chuck E. Cheese, noticing me being different. All in kindergarten. I got very violent because I couldn't understand why they were treating me like this when I didn't even do no wrong by them. Like, I was 5 when this was happening. I got emotionally, I am more logically in tuned, but I was raised in emotion thanks to my mom. She's the one that raised me my entire life. My dad wasn't part of the picture. So I was raised by love, but I was logically in tune. So I didn't understand, I didn't do no wrong by them, why they doing wrong by me? So after a lot of times I asked them to stop, I started getting more violent. I started fighting back. It got to the point where I was beating up literally 4th graders when I was in kindergarten. I punched a kid in the face. And then one time, yes, it's about to get morbid. One time when I was in the bus line in kindergarten, waiting on the bus, this kid, we were crisscross applesauce. He sat in front of me, and he started calling me Chuck E. Cheese because he knew I hated it, and I kept asking him nicely to stop, and then he kept doing it, and then I started losing my patience. He kept doing it, and then I got angry. He kept doing it. I said, if you say it one more time, I'm going to hurt you. And he says, okay, Chuck E. Cheese. And then I blacked out, jumped on top of him, and started slamming his head off the back of the ground. After that, and I'm so glad they did, they put me in counseling, or to help my anger, because I didn't understand what the fuck was happening to me and why people kept treating me the way they were treating me. Because I have an overactive mind, so that's why they say I have ADHD, because I analyze everything too quickly. I see everything. I can't focus on just one thing. I can realize it's there, but I already see past it already, kind of thing. I just, like I said, when I was in ECE, because I wasn't able to communicate right, and my emotions were like very distraught at the moment. So I had an abusive past, extreme abusive a past, and this was before I hit the age 5. I lost my brother when I was 1, and then, Richard was born after I lost Justin. So I mean, I know that it doesn't really get brought up, but yeah. And then some shit happened with my real dad and us, and he had ended up going to prison for 17 years. And then my mom got with a stepdad. I'm not saying any names, but he was doing okay at the beginning of it. He understood what the hell we went through and what was done to us. And then, out of nowhere, he just needed an outlet, and I guess I was the easiest target because I showed the most reaction, because I didn't understand what the fuck was going on around me and why people were treating me how they were and why they couldn't understand what I was trying to say to them. I may have gotten out of ECE, or not ECE, special ed in the 3rd grade, but people were still mishearing me, misunderstanding what I meant. And then when I tried to explain it, they thought I was lying, because I didn't know how to lie. I really didn't. I had to learn that shit, because, to be honest, I started lying after, I can just tell you the story. I can literally just go into depth of that day. Those moments led up to why I learned how to lie, because I was tired of getting punished for telling the truth. So let me just say the story first, because it's only going to be a story unless you believe it. That's all I can say. Everything's a story, whether it's real or fake. We were having onion rings, and my stepdad left, but he had 2, kids. They were older than me. I have an older sister and 2 younger brothers, but one's, like I said, passed away. So it was us 3, my mom, and then Aaron introduced the other 2. And to this day, my mom hasn't got the divorce yet, so yeah, they're still family. So, but he had to leave, and then they were eating his onion rings, but first they asked if I wanted theirs, and I said yes, and then I ate them, and then they ate his, and then after we got done eating, I went in, and I was only 5. I went and sat on the couch and was watching the original Godzilla movie, not the old ones. I'm meaning like the one where it has babies in like New York. And that guy who plays as Ferris Wheeler, he's the main character. And then he came in there and told me what happened to the onion rings. I said, I have no idea. Your kids ate them. I named them off. I said who ate them, and he said, "Oh, really? So they're telling me you ate it?" And I said, "No, I did not. They did. They gave me theirs, and I ate them. They ate yours." And then he just kept on getting more angrier and angrier and angrier with me, and I was just kept on telling him, "No, I didn't do it. I ate, theirs. They gave it to me. They asked me if I wanted it, and I ate it." And so he kept getting more angry and angrier, and it got to the point he put dish soap in my mouth and had me stand in the corner until I told him what he wanted to hear, not what he was wanting to listen to. And the thing is, I never told him I did it. I never admitted to it. I didn't. And after he made me spit out the dish soap, he made me go stand in the corner even longer because I wouldn't admit to it. So I had to learn to lie. I didn't naturally lie. I had to learn how to lie. Since I didn't, I would not have got believed anyways. Which comes to Alright, well, when I was 9, I ate a lot of Zingers. And it was like a box, and it was like a 20-pack of them. So all that caffeine, the sugar, it stimulated my brain, which stimulation causes anxiety, because anxiety is rapid energy going through your head. And it got to the point where I had my first panic attack. And then an ambulance had to end up showing up, and then they told me it was acid reflux. Shortly after, when I turned age 10, I started noticing these lumps, and it was getting harder for me to breathe. And I told the doctor that, I told him that, and he told me it's not cancerous, and there's nothing really to do about it since it's not blocking your airway, which ended up being. And the thing is, I know I'm right because my mom's a registered nurse, and she knows what I'm talking about when I described it to her. Because what started off with me learning it was, I wanted to learn. Yes, it's the vagus nerve. I wanted to learn how to knock someone out without hurting them. If I ever had to come to do that, I don't like violence. I don't like hurting people. So if I can knock someone out without hurting them, then obviously I'd rather do that. And when I started studying up on the nerve, is when it starts saying it can help relieve tension because it connects to your brain, your heart, your lungs, your digestive system. It's a parasympathetic nerve. It's not like a normal nerve. It literally saps and functions. It's like, what it does, it helps your blood pressure. It's like a blood pressure indicator. It helps signal the brain and the heart to each other. It's like Morse code. Tap, 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 tap. So I knew at that point is when, and then it said if you massage it, obviously it would help relieve a lot of stress, help you breathe easier. And I learned that it's the reason why your blood goes low blood pressure, and due to anxiety and stuff. And well, I learned it, and then I talked to my mom about it, and then I showed her, because when I was feeling around massaging the area, because I found it, I studied in depth. Like, I was literally straight up researching this because I found it interesting that it's not just to knock someone out. You can learn how to actually have it help reduce stress and anxiety and shit. And when I was feeling around trying to find it and studying it, looking where it's at, feeling around, looking where it's at, and finally finding it, double checking, finding it again, letting my hand go of it, double checking, finding it again. That's when I noticed, when I started actually feeling around, making sure I had the right thing, is when I felt more lumps. The ones that he never went over. And the thing is, doctors really don't care for nerve damage. They don't, because nerve damage is quite normal. And my nerve's not damaged. It's, like I said, it's kind of like Morse code between the heart, the lungs, and the brain. They're all connected together through this nerve. Your blood pressure. So a panic attack, that's increase in heart rate. When I can't breathe, that's panic. There's no circulation going to my brain. Lack of air to my brain. My heart's beating fast. So the thing is, with a panic attack, your neck constricts, and so when my neck's not constricted, everything's okay. When I get into a panic attack or an anxiety attack, my neck starts to constrict. And what happens to hard objects surrounded by mushy, soft, flexible objects when it's constricted? Yeah. I didn't faint. I seize out because when the lower your blood pressure gets, the more close you are to fainting. And seeing how I was already not being able to breathe, I didn't just faint, I seized out because I didn't have any oxygen in my brain. All due to because these lumps in my neck that I knew about ever since I was 9. The doctors wouldn't even listen to a goddamn thing I said because I haven't even gone to see them again because, like I said, I just recently figured this out, and I have had medical people who have a medical background check it over before I went and saw them because I end up being right about this. I'm gonna be so pissed because every year until I stopped going to the doctors because I was tired of the same answers. Every year, even before the seizures, it was because of the lumps. Every time I went to the doctors, I double checked to see about these lumps because they kept bothering me and more kept popping up. And they said, "Oh, it's natural." I give it take this video when I post it. I'm like literally going to call the doctor. Hold on. Tuesday, May 4th. Fuck. Call the doctor later today since it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So, because I actually had I OD'd on nicotine today, and that's how I found out what caused my first seizure. But I'm glad someone was there to give me a hitter of weed because they noticed I wasn't out of my room for a long time. When they came in there, they saw me like breathing heavily on the ground, shaking. I wasn't seizing out. It's just I couldn't really breathe and think. I was going numb, kind of thing. And then they told me to smoke this. So I smoked it, and it ended up being a hitter of weed, which weed relaxes your muscles, which obviously relaxes the tension in your neck. It relaxes your body, which allows for me regular blood flow, oxygen flow. And I got told it's an excuse, and that I'm an overthinker and an overanalyzer. And when I started smoking weed because of my seizures, it helped me calm. I was able to focus because I focus on a lot of things at once. I see everything at once, kind of thing. I'm always observant, always on to the next thing, but knowing still on the last one. Like, even that's how my brain works. The type of talking I do is in the fourth person. I talk in the fourth person. I don't know how to use I as well. I usually say you, us, we, them, they. I'm not good at using I. And it got me in so much trouble growing up because they thought that I was talking shit or I was just blaming them. I adapt fast, and I thought it was a curse because it ended up me having a personality like a chameleon. I adapted to my environment and I mirrored the environment around me. So what ended up happening is that it could turn negative. It was balanced personality. It can either be good or bad, frightened or happy. Frightened doesn't have to be a bad thing. Frightened also causes people to stand up, take charge. It's frightened, so misconcepted word. Anyway, that being said, I think we all know where we're getting with this. I am going to make sure I get to see them tomorrow, if not Wednesday. I'm nervous. You said that I'm right. I really hope I'm wrong, guys. I got told wrong. I was wrong my entire life when I ended up being right the entire time. Not the entire time. I love it when I'm wrong. That means I know better than the last time. That kind of thing. I love being wrong so I can be right. A wise man says you truly never learn enough. I kind of spoke in the fourth person. All right. I actually am the one. I have no idea if anybody else said this. The probability of someone saying that exact phrase is extremely likely. So, from my perspective, I was the one that said that. I have no idea what wise man has said that. Fuck. Anywho, I know I'm just planting on it now. It's just I'm really drained, and it's nerve wracking, but I survived this long. People are gonna just see this as me trying to get attention and point out fucking things, or like, oh, pity me. Dude, I hated hearing that growing up. I don't seek pity. I never did. I was the one that was helping other people. I learned how to give out my heart and love to other people before I learned how to give it to myself. Fuck. I really need to get off. I don't want to get too intense because I don't like deleting shit. I don't like getting rid of anything. Why would get rid of something that came into being because of you, or wasn't you were there for that situation, or you breathed it in just in that second? It just comes down to the moments. I don't believe in time. Moments are eternal. Time ends. Moments make time. Time makes nothing. Think about that for a second. Because obviously I talked about a bunch of this already in my videos. It's just my justice for me, I get like with how medical shit and the diagnoses when I was younger was not as good as it is now. But the fact of it being is ever since I was 9 and I did see the doctor, which was a lot until I started getting into my teenage years and I stopped giving a fuck. Rebel days. Because I am 21. So, well, 9 years. 9 years old. I'm 21. How many years is that? Well, I believe that's 12 years. For 12 years, I knew exactly what was killing me. Can you even comprehend how much that for a 9-year-old to know what was killing him, but he was getting told he was wrong the entire time, and he had to learn the wrong way, even though he knew deep down he was right, and he feared it, and he studied it and studied and studied and studied. I would not be here today if I not tried to learn what the fuck was killing me, because I didn't trust what the doctor said. I know that's just like a high-minded kind of thing. No. My brain is suffocating itself right now because it's barely getting anything to it. It's not getting as much as regular people. I'm not saying that there's nobody else with this condition. No, I'm not. I'm just saying my brain is not getting enough stuff to it. When I exercise is when it starts getting enough, but then it starts getting overworked. And I start getting adrenaline. That's how I was able to stay balanced. And then I started eating, which obviously made it worse, and that's when my first seizure started. Then I started smoking weed again, and I started losing weight, and then I stopped smoking weed again. Started eating a lot, and then just recently I started losing weight again. How do you explain that? I mean, there's obvious ways to explain it. It's just, and like, what common sense? Is there any fucking logical explanation to how that is? Besides for there being a medical title. See, we really need to get the society to understand, yes, it could possibly mean nothing at all. But children, when they're young, are more attuned with their senses than they are as they age. The younger they are, the more in tune they are with their senses. The older they get, the more they get used to certain senses and then build new ones. Just all it comes back down to being that sometimes you just gotta save a life, don't take it. Listen, don't hear it. I was living a life by death. Ever since I was 9, I have been fighting for my life, practically, because my brain was not getting enough oxygen, enough blood flow. And it got to the point where I started seizing out, and now my seizures are permanent, but this no longer has to be. My brain is now... I got until 25 until my brain stops growing. So I got until 25 to not have another seizure, because that'll increase my odds of not having one again. But if I don't get these removed, then obviously my odds are always going to stay the same as I am now. I am dying. I've been dying since I've been 9. I'm only stating that as a logical fact, not emotional attachment. I went crazy. I couldn't handle my child's death because all the fucked up shit they put my head through, because they didn't understand what was causing my seizures. I have so much neurological damage from all the seizures and all the chemicals I was putting in my body, they were putting in my body. And what I mean by chemicals, I wasn't a heavy drinker, but I did drink a little bit kind of thing. And obviously I picked up smoking weed. That definitely was a lifesaver without me even realizing. I thought it was one fucking causing my seizures. Or was continuing my seizures. My apologies. I actually was... I already know what caused my first seizure that night, because what happened tonight kind of caused, that's how I know it caused my first seizure, because it was everything up to that point. So the fact that I came to accept my death because I already lived it. These seizures made me stronger. Every time I seize out, I die, and there's only just a little bit of a spark that reignites my brain to keep my body functioning, even though I just fainted, but seized out first. I'm just pissed and happy at the same time. How can it take someone who's just wanted to learn how to knock someone out so they didn't have to hurt them when it came to violence? How does it take that type of person to understand something? I was literally getting MRIs, scans, tests since I was 17, trying to figure out what's causing my seizures. And every time I got a test or I was about to get blood drawn, I asked them, "Are you sure it's not the lumps in my throat?" But just recently I learned about the vagus nerve. And that's where a few of those lumps are attached to near. And it's either attached or there's some that's also near it, but not close enough if my neck is unconstricted. But there's actually some still on my, which can, like I said, a lot of shit can cause, stimulation to your brain can cause anxiety. Depressants to your brain cause depression. And seeing how my brain is overstimulating, isn't overactive, and then now with the formings of this, that means it's more likely to keep sparking out. So I'm most likely going to have to see a specialist, and once I go see my primary doctor tomorrow, I really haven't decided that I want to do something about this or not. I had a chance at a scholarship, and then I was going to join the Marines. I was hoping to be a police officer, a paramedic, a firefighter. I didn't know yet. I was only 16. And once I hit 17, my life ended. I'm just glad I never gave up hope and I had the love and support of my family and friends, honestly. I could have easily took my own life through that whole process. Like, can you blame me? I've been slowly suffocating to death since I was 9 because they wouldn't get rid of the bumps. Suffocation isn't just air, it's blood. You can suffocate your heart, it's all your veins and arteries are disconnected from it. And you can suffocate impulses to the brain like on a nerve. I already talked to a lot of people about this. They're astounded and pissed. So why can't I be pissed? Fuck. Alright, it's getting late. My brain just, I can't go to sleep because the reason why I was ODing on nicotine is because I slept more than 12 hours and my blood pressure was low and I was trying to stimulate it. Let's just say I bit off a little bit more than I chewed. So, anyways, I gotta get going. So,